Hello all, my name is Sanjay. In this quick video, let's talk about the sectional cutoff mentioned in the official details for the upcoming CLAT PG 2021. In the next few minutes, we will try to answer a few questions that arise out of this announcement. What is this cutoff all about? What's the rationale behind the cutoff? What are the implications on the CLAT PG All India rankings? How does it affect CLAT LLM applicants and applicants for non-NLU law schools? Does it affect PSU applicants? And we'll also take a look at what are the possible alternatives that the CLAT consortium might adopt. As per the recent announcement, the CLAT PG 2021 will have two sections. The objective part for 100 questions, 100 marks, and the subjective part consisting of two essays. The official instructions mention that the descriptive part will not be evaluated for candidates scoring less than the cutoff in the objective part, which happens to be 40% for general merit candidates and 35% for SC, ST and persons with disability. Now the sectional cutoff is not a new concept. It was originally introduced in 2020. But the COVID situation led to the CLAT turning into an online exam and the subjective part was dropped. So it did not have any impact last year. But it may have some far-reaching implications this year for candidates as well as for some NLTUs. Now, before we proceed, let us be clear that the consortium has not clarified how the All India rankings will be computed. Will the All India ranks be on the basis of combined scores or on objective scores alone? In fact, the process of publishing the AIRs itself is not confirmed. It is actually possible for an exam to have both subjective and objective parts and the scores to be released separately for both, like it happens in LNAT or GMAT. And individual colleges can choose on what weightage they want to give to each section. Here we will assume that the All India ranks will get published and they will be on the basis of combined marks. Now, what is the rationale behind the cutoff? Every year there are 6,000 plus candidates appearing for the CLAT PG exam. Assuming that some candidates will write 2 essays, some may write only 1 essay and some may decide to give up on the exam itself, we are still looking at around 10,000 essays that need to be evaluated. If each essay requires around 10 minutes to evaluate and an expert working an 8-hour shift can mark them for 6 hours straight, it still means that around 278 man days worth of work is required to evaluate all these essays. So if there is a team of 50 evaluators, the work will take around 6 days to complete. Even with 100 evaluators, the consortium will need around 3 days to evaluate all the essays. So the consortium must have decided to speed up the declaration of the results and evaluate the essays of only those candidates who score above the minimum cutoff. But there is a fundamental issue in this plan. If you look at the All India rankings from 2020, which followed the same pattern of comprehension-based objective questions, out of the 6,217 candidates who appeared for the exam, only 532 scored more than 35%. So only 532 would have had their essays evaluated and get an All India rank. With 732 LLM seats to be filled across various NLUs and assuming a 15% dropout rate, there would have been only around 450 candidates who would join through the CLAT and almost 300 seats would have to be filled outside of the CLAT process. Now this would have seriously affected some of the newer and the lower ranked NLUs. Now, how does this cutoff affect the CLAT LLM applicants in 2021? Well, the top NLU aspirants will not be affected. However, the effect will be felt in an increasing magnitude from the bottom up. Going by our worst case scenario assumption, the lowest ranked NLUs may find that there aren't enough AIR holders to actually fill their seats. The borderline aspirants who may have stronger writing skills and miss out on the cutoff by a whisker will miss out on getting a seat through the CLAT PG. This simple example illustrates a borderline case. A candidate who is stronger on the subjective part and could have scored a much higher AIR misses out on the rankings totally by just 1 mark. While this looks like a hypothetical example, if you look at the previous year's marks, there were 60 candidates whose scores were between 41 and 42. If the cutoff was 42 marks, all of these candidates would have missed out by less than 1 mark. The cutoff criteria affects the non-NLU aspirants also, because every year there are around 70 colleges that accept CLAT scores for their own admissions. while some of them are for LLB, there are many for LLM also. Our guesstimate is that there would be around 500 plus non-NLU seats that are on offer in these non-NLU institutions for their LLM programs. In many cases, these institutions have their own entrance exam, but they will also accept CLAT or LSAT scores. If a candidate does not get an AIR in CLAT, they will be forced to sit for the other exams and spend more time and money. PSU applicants are not going to get affected much by these cutoffs since the cutoffs for the PSUs themselves are quite high. Typically, the competition for PSU roles means that many top rankers will apply for them even if they have secured seats in the top NLUs. And several candidates take the exam just for the sake of applying to these PSUs. That said, there might be borderline cases, especially candidates who could have gotten a PSU role with a lower CLAT PG score, possibly because of some reservation, who will now miss out on that because they did not get a CLAT AIR. Unless of course the PSU is asking for the CLAT marks and not for an AIR, and if they don't ask for the subjective marks. Looking at the possible implications of this objective cutoff, the CLAT consortium can consider a couple of options to overcome them. First would obviously be to remove the cutoffs totally or at least lower the cutoff significantly. They can also look at publishing two ranks, a general rank and a CLAT rank. The general rank based on the objective scores alone and the CLAT rank using a combination of both the objective and the subjective parts. They can also look at discontinuing the publishing of the All India ranks and just publish the marks of each of the sections individually. The NLUs can then set the criteria on which section they want to consider and how much of a weightage they want to give to each of these sections. The other option would be to completely do away with the subjective part like it was done in 2020. The CLAT, ILET, DLLM and other LLM entrance exams have done fine without the subjective part anyways. Is the subjective part of CLAT PG really required? There are different answers to this question, both for and against. Anyways, removing the subjective part would also remove any contentious cases of students asking for re-evaluation of essays. Considering that the COVID situation is likely to linger over the next few months, reducing the amount of paperwork would be a better option health-wise also. It would allow for the exams to be switched to a completely online format even at the 11th hour without having to change the question paper pattern. Going by our experience over the last few years, there is a possibility that the CLAT consortium may tweak the format or pattern over the next couple of months. So let's wait and watch. As of now, let us work on your preparation with the assumption that the subjective part and the objective cutoff marks are here to stay. That's all for this video. In the upcoming videos, we will discuss more about the CLAT PG and the strategies on how to crack it. Please do subscribe to this channel. Check out lawment.com for online prep packs for the CLAT PG, ILET PG, DULLM, UGC NET, Judicial Services and other law related exams. Thank you and see you soon in our next video.